you guys, just looking through the stuff. There's not nearly enough on Black Design. There's like one paragraph. It's a much bigger chunk of the AP test than that. So this is like me supplementing. So we're going to go through the note packet first. I was originally going to put it on the board. That's why it's in like giant old person text size. But I figured instead of having you write it all down, I could just give it to you. So we're going to go through those notes first and then do a couple of the frappies. I want to finish all 3 frappies. I don't know if that'll be today or tomorrow. And then anytime after we finish those 3 frappies, until the end of class tomorrow, you have time to work on your con. So if we finish it all day, you get the whole day tomorrow. It takes us half the day, you know what I mean? So, I don't know how long it'll take. I just let you know. Partner. Yeah, con and the homework in the packet. Frappy is just like we do in class, and you're going to want to know that stuff, but I'm not looking at it for... Yeah, okay. So we did matched pairs last time, or last week, where you take like 2 people that are similar, randomly assign one of them one thing, randomly assign the other one the other thing. Or it could be yourself, like when we did like the right arm or the left arm, putting in the mosquito thing, you know? So that's pairs. Block design is the same exact idea, except it's not pairs, it's bigger groups. So just like matched pairs, you want your blocks to be similar in some important way. So matched pairs, you want to be as similar as possible. Blocks is going to be like, we block males over here and females over here. Or we block like senior citizens over here and teenagers over here. Like we totally separate 2 groups and we do 2 totally separate experiments. So let me go through, I got an example. Turn to the page to the example. This is Mr. Porter's thing. It's the same problem we did last week. I'm just making it a block design now instead of matched pairs. So I'm going to diagram how it would look and then type it up. So you've got 200, is it 100 of each? 100 total? So 50 males, 50 females? Alright, I've got 100 athletes. I think that, like in one test hypothesis, which is just like a training method that Mr. Porter used for cross country. But I suspect it might be different in males and females. And I want to know that. So if I just randomly choose people, it could be that the Pavo group is mostly male. And then if the Pavo group does better, I don't really know if it was because of male or because of Pavo. Or the other way around. It could be the Pavo group mostly female, and they do better. And I don't know if it's just female or Pavo. So we want to like get rid of that variable. So we're going to do 2 separate experiments. I've got 50 males. I've got 50 females. Gender is a variable. Here, this is good. Okay. Gender is a variable that I think might impact things, but it's not what I'm trying to test. I'm trying to test pop. But I think this might get in the way. There's 2 words for that kind of variable. Confounding and learning. So because I think this is a confounding variable, like it might mess things up, I'm going to split it up. Like you can't mess it up. I'm going to do 2 males over here and females over here. Every now and then, because I wrote this on a diagram, like the first one we did, I wrote like randomly here. You remember that? Don't write randomly here, because you don't get to randomly assign gender to people. I mean, that makes sense, yeah? But I'll see that a lot. And then from here, I pretend I'm doing a completely randomized experiment with 50 males. And I write all that out, and then I do the same thing with females. So now, 25 will do Pavo. 25 will do not Pavo. I don't know what that's called. And there, if you want to write randomly, that's cool, because that is going to be a random assignment. Then for females, 25 Pavo. 25 non-Pavo. I'm going to do the names of a hat. problem with flipping a coin is if you put 50 people and you start flipping, and every time it's heads, you put them in this group. That group, one group's gonna fill up first, right? And then the last ones that are left over after that happens aren't random anymore. They're just like putting them there. So you want to put them in the hat. And then at the end, that's the same thing. You compare. So I would compare like mile time increase or something. Miles, I don't know. That's not really what I'm too worried about. Does this remind you of any of the sampling types that we had? So that was like cluster, stratified, medians. Cluster, the groups were already pre-mixed. Stratified is what I was like, so it's stratified is what I would say, like, I want 100 people from the school, but I want to make sure I get 25 freshmen, 25 sophomores, 25 juniors, 25 seniors. So I'm forcing the groups to be like similar. And there were two benefits of that, and it's the same two benefits of this. Everybody tell me a benefit of block design or stratified. It's kind of the same thing. So we're removing the confounding variable. That's a good one. That's better than what I was going to say. What were you going to say? Equal representation of groups in each group, right? So again, if I just randomly split these up, it could have been that the Pavo people were all males and the non-Pavo were all females. So this forces equal representation in each group. So I guess there's three. I wasn't even thinking of what Davis said. And what does this allow us to do that I wouldn't be able to do if I just randomly split it into groups? Like not even thinking about gender. Demographical breakdown. So you can compare the groups. You can compare males and females this way. Where if I just did it randomly, I wouldn't be able to compare males and females. Your way of saying it's better. I just don't have that big of a questions on that like diagram? Alright, let me type it up. And then you guys try the second one. What do I get 5 with? To keep my Tesla? Okay, so I would say we are going to, this is my answer down here. We are going to block on gender. So that means I'm creating a block of males and a block of females to do the experiment on. I could block on like grade level. And then I would have like 4 blocks. It'd be like a block of freshmen, a block of sophomores, a block of juniors, a block of seniors. For each group, put the 50 names in a hat, mix them up. The first 25 names that you pull out, do the Pavo system. The rest don't. So we're doing 2 like experiments, but you don't have to describe them both. You can just kind of describe them both at the same time. You don't have to like describe one and then say the exact same thing to describe the other. You can just do it together. You guys with me? Matthew? With me? Mm-hmm. The rest don't. Then what do I do at the end? I'm missing one thing. Compare mile times or whatever it is. So did I randomize? Yep. Did I do replication? Replication's just doing it on like a bigger group than one person. Like I did 25 each, right? That's replicating. So that's 2 hours. What else do I need to experiment? Comparison, am I comparing? Yep. What's the last one? It's C. It's CCRR. So you missed a C. Control. So is there a control group here to compare to? Then we're good. So the writing it out's not too bad. Diagrams, I don't think it's too bad to understand. It does get confusing when there's like 3 different types sometimes. But questions on what I'm doing here? So I would like you to try the next one. I'd like you to try to diagram it and then write it out. Remember, the diagram doesn't actually count for points, so don't give me just the diagram. Really, it's not necessary, but I'm suggesting you try the diagram. So your first sentence should be, we are going to block based on what we block on, whatever. You should tell the person. So basically here you should be saying we block on AP versus not AP. I cannot force you to. I can only strongly suggest. But if you decide that you don't want to, you want to ignore that, here's the president. So I would say something like this: block based on AP or non-AP, and that tells the person grading it. I'm blocking, which means I'm putting 2 separate experiments. I'm blocking those 2 things from ever interacting with each other. Put on the names of the hat, mix them up, pull out 50, do the experiment, and then compare at the end. Fair enough? Questions? So if you look at the other packet, the Frabby packet I gave you, we did that Windows problem, but we did it in matched pairs. I want you to do it again, but we're doing it in block. We might be able to finish. Probably will finish all three.
All the groups have to be equal sizes.
They don't. It's kind of better if they are, but they. Oh yeah, that's for this one, right? The groups do not have to be equal sizes. Yeah, that's sort of relevant. It's questions. Realize that you're not like designing the experiment here. Just get as much as you can. So this says how would your group of windows and justify your choice. But so you don't have to like describe the whole experiment. So you don't have to part B, you're gonna have to decide I'm saying answer the questions they ask you instead of writing up a whole thing. You guys with us still? Sort of seems like you're not. There'll be a couple where you have to like write stuff out, so yeah, there would be on those. Thank you.
And then you gotta do 9, 10, 8, and 11.
8, 9, 10, 11. That is a terrifying suggestion. You can just stay. I'm gonna go over this in like 10, 30 seconds. What's up? No, I would do this one. I would have 4 groups for this one. And they can be different sizes. So when we did the matched pairs version, a lot of people put 12 and 1 together, and 6 and 7 together, and then like 2 and 3, and 4 and 5. We're just making the groups bigger. So I just said all the north windows are one group, all the east are one group, south and west. Justify your choice. I blocked by direction because the sunlight impacts. What are we looking at here? Heat gain. Does that make sense, part A? Questions? Then part B, how would you assign window types? I would do it randomly. So for like the 12 and 1, you could flip a coin, and these you could flip a coin. And that's just a pain to write out. So I would just say for each group, put the numbers in a hat, mix them up. The first half you pull out, treatment A. The remainder get treatment B. And then I can, if I said like compare at the end, it would be fine. It's not like it's wrong. It's just extra information because they're not really asking for it. But it's not like, it's okay if you put it. Questions on this one here? Alright, try the next one. 2000 problem 5. So part A is asking for completely randomized. That is not block. That is not match pairs. That's just like half go here, half go here. We randomly assign. We don't worry about anything else. Part B asks you to block. So there's two different things going on here. that's the lurking variable. Give me a second, Will. Unless we can like chat from here. I'm still gonna say give me a second. You can get up and walk though. I know that you want to walk around. How can I help you, sir? I'm done. You come over. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're changing topics here. Good. She needs like the notes on that, or she wants the notes on. Yeah. Do you have a second update? Or like I have to know this to show like what page you know. Yeah. Right. I don't know why. So for part B, you want to block on whether they exercise or not, because that's the lurking variable. Oh, so that's nice. You don't miss Wednesdays. There's a school, so you only miss 2 days. That it works, but it's not blocked. So then I can compare it, like maybe the drug works really well, but it doesn't with exercise, or vice versa. You end up with the same 4 groups. Like I have exercise, drug, exercise, drug. You have the same 4 groups, but you just have to split. Yes. So you are right. That's what we're trying to get to. Just fix it earlier. So part A, completely randomized. They don't give us a number here, so I'm just gonna say put all the names in a hat. Mix them up. First half you pull out, get the drug. The rest get a placebo. Compare, what are we comparing? Cholesterol. At the end. So we're not worried about whether they exercise or not. We're just, half you get the drug, half you don't. We're not worried about anything else. It's completely random. So that's why it's called a completely randomized design. Part B, we want to incorporate blocking. So you want to block on something that you think matters, but it's not what we're trying to test. So we're trying to test this drug, but it also says at the beginning, cholesterol can be reduced by exercise. So that's your lurking variable. So you want to block based on whether people exercise or not, and carry 2 separate experiments. One where they exercise, one where they don't. So I will block based on exercise. I'll show you another way to write this out too. For the exercise group, I'll put put all the names in a hat, mix them up. The first half I pull out, get the drug. The rest get the placebo. And you might be thinking like, oh my god, do I have to type that same exact sentence again for the non-exercise? But you don't. You just say like repeat for the non-exercise group, and then compare cholesterol at the end. And like you could have worded it the way we did last time too, where we kind of said like for each, they're both fine. Questions on A or B? Like why did I block on that? The wording. Yeah, what's up? Oh, it's not a placebo? Yeah, you're right. So instead of placebo, I should say get the old drug. Thank you. Alright, part C. Remember, double blind means that the subject doesn't know what they're getting and the person giving them the drug doesn't know what they're getting. That's basically what I have to say. So yes, if the experimenter and the subjects don't know what drug they're taking. Some of you might have gone further and been like, there's a person behind the scenes that knows which is which, and that's fine. And I did that the first time I saw this problem too, but they didn't actually require that, so this was enough. Questions on that? Alright, so this last one, this tree one, is very, very commonly mixed up. I want you to think hard before you don't have to write anything really. Just like think about it, and then I'll type it. We'll talk about it and write it. But I'm worried you're going to write the wrong thing just based on history, nothing personal. But give it a shot. What do you think is better for block design, A or B? Don't say it out loud. Don't say it out loud. Don't say it out loud. You can say it out loud because no one's going to think you're right anyways. Thought about it? Let's vote first. Right. First of all, let's do this. Close your eyes. Because everyone, like, you don't have to close the eyes, but I'm telling you why. People will be like, I don't know if it's A or B, and they'll like look to see who else does that. But I would like to know, like, honestly, who got it right and who didn't. But I don't care who, I just want like how many. Close your eyes. Raise your hand if you said A. Raise your hand if you said B. Alright, thank you. It's A. And most people put B. So, is it very time to explain it? There is, so they give you this forest over here, which if I'm going to plant trees, the trees that are closer to the forest and the trees that are further from the forest might grow different. You agree with that? Okay. So let's say you do blocking scheme B, and you find out that I'm going to be better at explaining why A is I find out, like, let's say the new ones grew better, I know that it had nothing to do with the forest because they're all next to the forest. So this is a similar group because they're all close to the forest. It's like your exercise group. This is a similar group because they're all not close to the forest. It's like your not exercise group. So I want to plant 2 of each here, and then if these 2 grow better, I know it's because of those 2 trees, not because they were closer to the forest. Or if I go down here, and this is my group, I might, because you're going to randomly assign what goes where, I might randomly assign like one variety here, close to the forest, and one variety here, far from the forest. And then if these grow faster, do I really know why? Like, is it because they're close to the forest, or is it because of the type of tree? You don't know. Because you have mixed up the lurking variable into the experiment, where they want you to block to get the lurking variable out of the experiment. So what if you were diagramming this, you would go close to forest, far from forest, type 1, type 2, whatever these trees are, type 1, type 2, and then go from there. Does that help? Like people that put B, which is a lot of people don't feel bad. Does that help? Make sense why it's A? Questions I can answer? And then what's part B say? So they're asking randomization of every experiment, right? So that's like why do we put it here and where are we going to do it? We're going to randomly do it because everyone's brain has biases, and there might be other lurking variables. So let's say I decide, I'm going to put type 1 there and type 2 there, and I find out type 2 is better. It's possible that there's like a river down here, and that's why 2 is better. Or there's like a giant building here and it gets no sunlight, and that's why it's worse, or something to that effect. So you want to randomize to remove any other possible confounding variables. Questions? Raise your hand if you put B, but now you understand why it's A. Yeah. So you have the rest of the class today to work on con. You have all tomorrow, con in your homework, right? The rest of today and tomorrow is like a work day. Finish up your con and finish up your homework with your rest of us. Thursday will be like a review practice test, Friday's your test. And I'll try to have the review for you tomorrow so you can like have it ready in advance, but also you like to work on it. Questions? What? Good. It's not gonna be ready tomorrow. Is when you get back okay? Yeah. I could get ready tomorrow if you want. I think you should take it when you get back. Like then you'll have to review and it can even be Tuesday if you want it. It's up to you. Think when you're gonna take it when you get back? So like Monday or Tuesday? Okay.
So that's not the first one. I did it in I didn't see groups of the weeks, and I just said to randomly select like half the direction, like 1 here, 2 here, 2 here, and then that goes.
So did you go by like this?
Yeah, kind of randomly.
Say again.
But so I was blocking it in like the Windows 8 windows.
Okay.
And I went and said, randomly select half of the windows in each direction. And those are like taking 1 in the north and 2 in the east.
So in each direction is the key. Like,
Yeah.
So you block that direction. Because you're putting a block here, then a group of things that are all similar, then half of them will get A and half of them will get B.
Yeah. And I just put it all down just between Yeah, I blocked the window types, and then I just do half in each direction, put it under the window type. So I guess it's kind of in direction, but it's not how I wrote it.
It's almost like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you're assigning the A and B to the windows instead of assigning the windows to A and B, and that's fine. That's totally fine. But you've got to make sure you talk about like each block is blocked off for that reason, like for the direction, which I think you know because you just said like in each direction. You just gotta say it. So it's okay to do it in that order. Just make sure you're clear about like why you're putting half in each direction. You know, like so I know or the reader knows that you blocked my direction. That's your question.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I like that. Let's work that. We just talked about that for like 2 minutes. Sorry.